Alright guys, you already clicked on this video, so you already know what it's about. Everybody in the 2020s, if you want to be a photographer or a videographer, needs some kind of online presence. That's like a complete given. With that said though, what kind of online presence do you need to have? Whether you're a photographer, a videographer, or both. Do you need an Instagram, or a YouTube, or a Facebook, or a Twitter, or a Pinterest, or a TikTok, or a MySpace? There's a lot to choose from. And do you even need a website? Well, yes. But also no. And really, when thinking about this sort of thing, that's probably the most important question to ask yourself is, who am I trying to reach? Because all these different platforms have different audiences. They pull from different age groups, different types of people. Who are you trying to reach? Who is your client base? That's the real question. That's what this video is really all about. Do you need a website, or can you just go with social media? And what does that look like if you're a photographer or a videographer? So let's start with what you really came for in this video. Do you need a website? And like I said, yeah, you need one, but also not really. It kind of depends on where you are in your photography or video career and who you're really trying to cater towards. What client do you want to get again? A lot of younger people in my generation don't really care as much about a website as, let's say, a lot of people in older generations. From my personal experience, and this isn't, true with everybody, this is a generalization. Of course, there's outliers. But from what I've experienced, people who are like 40 years or older tend to look at a website as being way more reputable compared to like a social media account like an Instagram or a YouTube. To the people who have been in their industry for years, have created a career, have a thriving business, or maybe a business that's kind of struggling a little bit and they really need your services, they need those photos, they need those videos, having a website is professional to them. Seeing that kind of presence online, that is what speaks to that kind of client. So if that's what you're trying to go for, then I would definitely recommend getting some kind of website to showcase your work, because that's going to speak volumes to that kind of client. It's kind of funny to kind of talk about websites as being a little bit old-fashioned, since in the grand scheme of things they're so new, but the way technology is advancing and society is changing, it's important to stay on top of these trends and evolve with them, rather than, in a sense, get stuck in your ways and kind of get lost in the times, especially for a business. Another great thing about a website is it has the ability to combine all of your work and put it in one place. If you do both photography and video, Instagram is great for showing photos, but video is kind of an afterthought on the platform. YouTube is just nothing but video. Like, you don't really post pictures onto YouTube. You can show behind the scenes of photo shoots and things like that. A website is a great way to combine both of those things and put it in one place. Let's say you have a few big time video projects you've done and you want to show them alongside some of your big time photography jobs. A website is a great place to put all that stuff in one location where everybody can see it. So if you do both photography and video, I would highly recommend getting a website to show that if you want to show it all in one spot. One thing I would recommend is, if you're starting out, maybe not stress so much on getting a website. Websites are a massive undertaking. If you're going to use like a website builder like Wix or Squarespace, they cost a lot of money. You have to get a domain, you have to learn how all that works. On top of that, you have to build the website. If you did it like me, I didn't want to use a template because I just think that's just unprofessional. I just kind of built one up from scratch, and that's great, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and not everybody wants to put that much into it, especially if you're starting out. But it is another expense, and if you're just starting out and not really making much with this, it might not be something you're ready to invest in, and I wouldn't really recommend it either. Now, if it's somebody a little younger, somebody maybe in their 30s or younger than that, maybe they're an entrepreneur or they're looking for portrait work done, they have a big business that's thriving and they want somebody who's new, innovative, and young, I would highly recommend, showing them an Instagram or a YouTube, and even a Facebook. Tons of people are already there, so tons of people are already gonna get exposed to your work, and they're a great way to connect with people in general. I mean, they're literally websites built to be social media. Duh. If I'm in class and I want to tell somebody about the kind of the work that I'm doing, the first thing I'm going to bring up isn't my website, it's my Instagram or my YouTube. You want to see my work? That's where you can check it out. Because 9 times out of 10, when I go to talk to them, they've probably already got it pulled up on their phone. People who are in their 30s or younger are going to have an easier time of finding your stuff on a social media platform and contacting you through that social media platform compared to something like a website. Now, if you're a photographer, what I would recommend instead of YouTube, of course, would be Instagram. It has, for a lot of photographers, become their portfolio. A lot of younger photographers especially are using Instagram as a way to, show off their work. It's set up basically like a portfolio website in a sense. You have a grid showing all these awesome photos. You can click on them, flip through, read a little bit about them. People can contact you on Instagram. They can follow you, see more of your work. If you're a photographer and you're not on Instagram, I highly recommend that you get on there as soon as possible, because it is a great way to meet people and get your name out there and show off your amazing photos. If you're a videographer, I'd probably put your work on like YouTube. It's free. You can upload videos there. You can make it public, private, unlisted. You've got tons of options. It's a great way to kind of showcase some of your work. If you've got like a demo reel, and a demo reel, if you don't know what that is, that's pretty much a video in and of itself. But it's basically like your video portfolio. If you've got one of those, it's a great place to put it. Even if you've got a lot of experience, you've been doing this for years, YouTube is definitely a free way to kind of showcase your work and really put it out there to the whole world. Because we live in a world with the internet where people have access to anything and everything all over the world. So putting your stuff out there to the entire world is so crucial, especially if you're trying to build a brand, build a client base, and things like that. One more thing I do want to mention though, and this is my pro tip of the day, is to have business cards. Like, it sounds so stupid, but trust me, business cards are a huge way to get yourself out there and to get people to that website, to that Instagram, to that Facebook. I can't tell you how many times I've met somebody and like I didn't have a business card on me or whatever, and they're always like, oh, where can I see your work? And I'm like, oh, my website. What's your website? And I give them my website, and then they're like, oh, they misspelled it or something, and then they can't find it, and then I'm standing there over their phone, and then I wind up typing it in there. Or it's the same thing with Instagram. Oh, I'm at Weird Pigeon Productions. Okay, so they put me in there, and oh, I misspelled pigeon, or is that all one word? And it's just a huge headache. You don't want to deal with it. Sometimes when you meet people, you could just be like literally talking to somebody in the elevator. You don't have time to sit there and explain to them exactly how to get to your Instagram or your website. Like, nobody has time for that. Hand them a business card that has that information on it. What I have on the back of my business cards is actually I have QR codes, and that is super helpful because then you can just scan it with your phone. I know like QR codes are kind of lame, but again, it's just a great way to kind of just get your stuff out there easier. On top of that, I highly recommend getting something to hold your business cards in, because let me tell you, there is nothing worse than pulling out a business card from your wallet that has been in your back pocket all day. You've got this crinkled, nasty, like messed up business card you're handing this person. It's covered in sweat and gross because it's been in your back pocket, you've been sitting on it, and then you're handing it to the client and they're just like, oh, thanks for this business card that's all crinkly and gross now because it's been in your back pocket for a full day. Like, what a great impression. No, it's not. It's not, don't do that. I highly recommend getting something to hold your business cards in. They're super cheap on Amazon. They keep them nice and clean, keep them nice and straight. And ladies, I know you have this problem too, all right? You might have a bunch of business cards jumbled up in your purse and you have to dig them out. I know those purses are like endless, bottomless pits. Like, I don't know how you guys find anything in those. So at the end of the day, Facebook, awesome, make sure you've got it. Instagram, great for photographers, not so much for videographers. If you wanna post some behind the scenes stuff though, it's a great place to do it. YouTube, awesome to show behind the scenes for photography. You want to basically show how you do a shoot. It's a great way to get your name out there as well. But really, if you're a videographer, YouTube should be the place to go. It's free, put your videos on there, share the links with people, there you go. Websites, great for showing all of your work in one place, but not so great for beginners just because of the amount of time you gotta put into them, the upkeep, the expense. So guys, let me know what you've got in the comments below. And is there any kind of social media out there that I didn't mention that you feel like people should definitely have if they're going, oh, excuse me, just burped. Man, that was gross. All right, guys, let me know down in the comments what you think of what I had to say about websites, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And of course, make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell notification, like the video, all that stupid stuff YouTubers tell you to do. I mean, you don't have to do it, but I really appreciate it. And also, I'm thinking about starting up a podcast. I'll have more information about that pretty soon. So when this video goes up, if the podcast is up and ready to go, the link will be down in the description. It's me and a friend of mine. We're basically just talking about anything and everything under the sun. Some of it's video, some of it's not, some of it's just what we think is interesting and relevant. So I'll have more information about that in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.